I genuinely need to know if I'm the crazy one here, because my friend Sarah,
Usually, yes, you are. But what happened?
very funny. No, I was talking to Sarah about her 40th birthday trip. They dropped like, I don't know, thousands of dollars to go overseas. And I asked her, wow, what's the itinerary? And her response was literally, oh, we're just going to get there, and when we land, we'll look up some places to go.
Oh man, the classic, what do they call it? The I need a vacation from my vacation trap?
Yes, exactly. It's like a financial black hole. You spend all this money and then you're just stressed.
Well, that is exactly why we're talking about this today. Look, most families, and honestly, we used to do this too, they are completely obsessed with the transaction, the flight, the hotel, the daily budget, but they completely forget to budget for, well, the feeling.
I'm Lynn.
And I'm Frank. Welcome to Talk and Wonder. We create easy-to-understand whiteboard animations covering family finance, investing, passive income, and debt management. Our goal is to break down complex financial topics, help you avoid traps, and build wealth together.
If you want to secure your future and actually enjoy it, you are exactly in the right place.
So, going back to Sarah's trip, it's funny because think about when people plan weddings, right? They'll say, oh, we saved a little bit on the flowers, but we really splurged on the photographer.
Right, because the photos are the actual thing you keep.
Exactly. But for some reason, when it comes to family vacations or just big life experiences, we suddenly stop thinking like that. We switch back to transaction mode.
Wait, that totally reminds me of what we started doing. What do you call it? The memory compounding thing?
Yes, memory compounding. Look, one of the best financial decisions we ever made wasn't some stock pick. It was, well, actually, you tell them.
Okay, so whenever we go to a new city now, like we did this in Copenhagen and Tokyo too, we actually hire a local photographer to just walk around with us for a few hours.
And just to be clear, I was totally against this at first. I remember thinking, who the hell does this? I'm not some Instagram influencer.
You literally fought me on it. You were like, I have an iPhone, Lynn. But the thing is, it's not about posing. We're in our normal clothes, grabbing coffee, just eating, and they capture us actually in context.
Right, because think about your camera roll right now. It's probably just, I don't know, 10 different places, but it's the exact same selfie pose.
God, yes, just our big heads blocking the Eiffel Tower or whatever.
Exactly. But the ROI, the return on investment on those local photos, it's incredible. It compounds. Like every time they pop up on our fridge years later, we get to relive the trip. It's an investment that doesn't reveal its full value immediately.
Which is the best kind of investment. But you know what's crazy? The things that actually make a trip, or even just family life, magical, they aren't always the expensive things.
Right? Sometimes they're literally the mistakes.
Oh my God, are you thinking about what I'm thinking about? The laundry incident?
I'm getting chest pains just thinking about that form. So we were staying at this incredibly nice hotel in Kyoto.
Beautiful place, but we'd been traveling for weeks, so
Right, we desperately needed clean clothes, so I pull out the little laundry bag from the closet, and usually I don't even look at the form, I just leave it for housekeeping. But I had this weird feeling, so I start filling it out, and I swear the blood literally drains from my face.
I remember you turning to me, looking like you'd just seen a ghost.
I looked at you and said, guess how much this is going to cost? And the answer was,
$325. Frank, stop. I still need a second when I hear that number. $325.
look, we could afford it. The room itself was, well, it was very expensive. But I'll be damned if I'm going to pay $325 to have my freaking underwear washed. And no way.
So we packed it all up and went on a mission. We found this tiny local laundromat down the street. Everything was in Japanese. We had to figure out the coins, the soap.
It was chaotic.
It was. But honestly, we just sat there while the machines were running and we just laughed. Like it became this whole adventure. And that's exactly the point I want to make about family budgets. Everyone thinks financial freedom means, outsourcing everything, eliminating all the friction.
Right, paying people to do all the annoying stuff.
Exactly. But sometimes that friction is where the magic happens. Doing something slightly messy together, like figuring out a foreign washing machine, actually builds the relationship way more than just handing over a credit card to the front desk.
That is such a good point. You want to preserve some friction in your life. But, and this is a big but, there are times when you absolutely should throw money at a problem, not to eliminate friction, but to buy a multiplier.
Oh, like the safari.
Yes, okay, so on our honeymoon, we were on this amazing safari. I'm taking pictures with my iPhone, and they're fine, but the lodge had these massive professional camera rentals, so I rent one, go out the next morning, and
And the photos were terrible.
they were so bad, just blurry blobs, because, and this is a huge lesson for investing too, buying the expensive tool doesn't automatically give you the skill.
Right, a fancy camera doesn't make you National Geographic.
Exactly. So that night, I went back to return the camera, and the guy running the shop, he was a local photographer. I just asked him, hey, can I just hire you to come out with us tomorrow?
Which completely changed the trip.
Night and day. He taught us lighting, angles, animal behavior. Every night we'd come back and do a photo critique. We were learning a tangible skill from a local expert.
And it translates perfectly to how we handle our money now. Like, we'll DIY our laundry on a trip, but we happily pay for the accountant. We pay for the financial advisor.
Exactly. You pay for the expert leverage. You don't just pay for the tool, you pay for the guide who can teach you how to use it. But learning when to pay for experts is one thing. Figuring out how to actually get treated like a VIP?
Without spending $8,000 a night?
Exactly, because look, when I was a kid, we never stayed at nice hotels. If we traveled at all, it was a cheap motel. My dad would tell us to stay in the car, he'd go check in, and then
The towel thing.
the towel thing. He would immediately call the front desk and ask for like 6 extra towels, and they'd be like, "Sir, this room is for 2 people." And he'd just say, "Send the towels, bye."
Which is hilarious, but you kind of developed an obsession with nice hotels after that.
I really did. But here's the thing. When people see these rooms that cost, $8,000 or $9,000 a night, they think that's the upgrade. The massive space, the marble floors.
Which, by the way, we both agree is a ridiculous amount of money for a room.
Totally. Because the real upgrade, the thing that actually makes you feel wealthy, is being understood.
Yes! Okay, explain how we do this now, because this changed everything for us.
Right. So, and I think everyone can do a version of this. We started sending a tiny, polite pre-arrival letter to the hotel.
It's nothing demanding. We just say, we don't really drink alcohol, so if there's a welcome amenity.
We'd prefer fresh berries instead of wine. And oh my God, Tokyo.
Tokyo. We walk into this room and waiting on the table is this beautiful wooden jewelry box.
Filled with hand-picked strawberries. And I have to tell you, for me, that hit so hard. Because growing up with a big family, strawberries were too expensive. If my parents bought them, you had to eat them immediately. So to walk into a room and just have them waiting for me.
It meant someone was paying attention.
Exactly. It felt like someone was looking over my shoulder saying, I know what he actually cares about. It felt rich.
And that right there, that is the absolute secret to a family budget. I feel like so many couples fight about money because they feel ignored. But if you create let's call it a being seen budget.
A being seen budget. Wow, I like that.
Right? Because it's not about buying your spouse a Rolex, it's noticing that they're stressed and using $20 to just order their favorite takeout so they don't have to cook. It's spending money to communicate, I see you and I've got you.
That's exactly it. You're using money as a tool for empathy, and when you apply that intentionally,
the return on investment is insane.
It really is. In fact, that exact concept is what led to the single most memorable thing I've ever spent money on in my entire life.
Oh, the India trip.
Yeah, and I actually didn't even tell you the full behind the scenes of how I pulled it off until after we got back. So we invited my mom, well, my mom and my aunt, to this tiger safari in India. And they grew up in India, but they'd never been to this specific place.
Right, and they were already in shock when we got there because we set up those massages for them right after the long train ride.
Exactly. But I realized I wanted to do something bigger, something, I don't know, deeper. So I snuck away.
I literally thought you were taking a nap.
No, I was sitting with the head chef. I told him their whole life story, where they grew up, where they moved, and I asked him, can we build a custom menu that represents their life journey?
Which is just, it's so beautiful. Because most people, when they want to celebrate, they just say, let's buy the most expensive steak on the menu.
Right, they just throw money at it, or they try to pack in a million expensive activities, like we did in Thailand. Remember that?
Oh my gosh, don't remind me. We had the food tours, the design tours.
On paper, it was the perfect trip, but we were exhausted. We were managing the schedule instead of experiencing it. I literally remember thinking, I don't even want to go on this food tour. I just want to sleep.
Exactly, because great experiences and great financial plans, honestly, they don't run on tightly packed schedules. They run on intention. You don't need 50 things on the itinerary. You don't need to optimize every single dollar. You just need one perfect intentional moment.
And that night in India, that was the moment. I made sure we left that one night completely open. Then a golf cart pulls up, drives us through the property, and we turn a corner.
And the amphitheater.
This ancient-looking amphitheater, hundreds of candles lit everywhere, Rajasthani musicians playing in the background, the chef is right there cooking, and I looked at my mom and my aunt, and they were in complete disbelief.
And then the chef came out.
Yeah, he came out and explained how the dishes were inspired by their childhood city, and my aunt looked at me and she just said, "Why did you do this for me?" I didn't even take a picture. I just sat there and lived it.
Because it wasn't a transaction anymore. It was pure emotion. You made them feel incredibly seen. But, when we talk about experiencing that level of service or doing things that feel that rich, a lot of people immediately feel this wave of
Guilt.
exactly money guilt. They immediately think, oh, I shouldn't be spending on this. I should be putting it in the college fund.
Right, and it reminds me of when we were in Nairobi, we hired this group of local guys. They had actually grown up on the streets, homeless for a variety of reasons, to give us a tour of their neighborhood.
Which, by the way, was one of the most humbling days we've ever experienced.
Truly, and at the end, we're having lunch with our guide, and I just asked him, what did you drink when you were on the streets? Did you drink coffee? And he looked at me and said, coffee is for rich people. We drink tea.
Wow.
Right? And you realize, for us, buying a coffee is it's mindless. Most Americans do it every day. But we have this entire financial industry that constantly makes us feel guilty for it. They're like, cut out the lattes, don't buy the sweater, don't take the trip.
And that is exactly what we need to unlearn. Because, look, what is the point of knowing your investment numbers or obsessing over your retirement date if you are just miserable today?
The miserable millionaire syndrome.
Yes, we don't want anyone listening to this to feel guilty for wanting to live well. A rich family life isn't about hoarding every penny. It's about, it's spending with intention. You ruthlessly cut costs on the things you don't care about, right? But the things you do care about, the things that create those compounding memories?
You spend extravagantly on them. You lean in.
Exactly. You lean in. So, speaking of leaning in and the being seen budget, I was actually looking at our upcoming anniversary.
Oh, God. Why do I feel like this is going to cost me?
It's not going to cost money, but it might involve some intentional friction.
No. Lynn, no.
I was thinking maybe a road trip with 0 planned stops. We just drive and figure it out.
No. I need a spreadsheet. I can't just arrive and see what happens. That was the whole point of the first story.
But think about the memory compounding. We could get stranded. It'll be a great story.
That sounds magical. Truly. Let me just go pack my